Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Aaron here once more again, and today I have another Gunpla review. This time around we're reviewing the Gundam Vidar from Mobile Gundam Iron Blood Orphan Season 2. This right here is Galio's Force Gundam frame that he pilots. Technically speaking, it's the same Gundam frame, just the Force different armor variation that gets put on top of it. With the first two that we already know are the two variations of the Gundam Chimeras, like the regular Chimeras and the Chimeras Trooper. And the Gundam Vidar being the Force variation of that, the fifth one being the Chimera, is the Gundam Chimeras Vidar, which we'll see later down in the video because I do technically have it, and I'll show that as a comparison. But there is a third one that goes in between the Chimeras and the Vidar, and that is called the XK, which is, for me, by the way I look at it, and maybe I'll put like a picture on in the video just to show you guys. It's kind of like a combination of the Gundam Asmodee, if anybody's seen the model kit for the Asmodee, and the Vidar. It's basically both of them combined together in a great color scheme, as it is technically a prototype unit, before they ended up finishing the prototype for the armor, eventually finishing it off and eventually developing the Gundam Vidar, as we see right here. I will say we do see that, and the reason why we're able to know and see that is because we see that in some animation and gameplay during the events of the IBO mobile game, which was only in Japan exclusive and was never released to the West, which I was sad because I kind of wanted to play it. A lot of us wanted, because it was the Uber Hunt, if I'm remembering correctly. Most of Gundam IBO's Uber Hunt, that we got to see that as part of the multiple Gundam frames that we got to see through that, and possibly, hopefully in the future, get a model kit of it. Maybe one day. But without further ado, folks, let's go dive right in with everything the Gundam Vidar comes with. And we're back, and this is everything the Gundam Chimeras Vidar comes with. Well, I mean, there's still technically, there might be something technically missing, because I was still trying to find it. I know Frank around that he does have a left-hand open palm hand, which I think I had somewhere around, but it's probably gone. It's either one of the many baggies I have of parts, or in the little box, like the little box band between that I was working on when I was customizing my Gundam Estrella custom and doing some of the other parts. But before that, let's do a little bit overview of the Gundam Vidar. And let me tell you, one of the things, I think of all the IBO Gundam frames, I will say this, the Vidar probably is my favorite, at least when it comes to design. The look and everything else really just makes it more pop out, and I think really just makes it a way better unit. At least cosmetically wise and designed and everything else. And not gonna lie, out of all the IBO frames, and for those who've built any of the IBO frames, the Vidar and my Barbaros Lupus and the Hajirabushi are currently the only ones who have not given me any torso problems, or any problems at all with the arms, legs, and the torso basically being floppy about. Because the one thing about IBO frames that people hate about it is they tend to get very loose and floppy over time. As I have messed with my Vidar. He has not done that, so I'm lucky with him. He hasn't gone through that floppiness yet, so that's the yay part of this. Because one thing about the Vidar, as you can see right here, I did customize them. I panel lined them, I did paint them, I did do a lot of customizations, a little bit painting to make it a little bit more a pop out and everything else. So I'm not gonna lie, looking at them a little bit more, I do see some nut marks that need to be cleared out afterwards. But I did do at least a lot of work with the painting. There's some stickers on here, which I was probably going to paint, but I never got around to it. It is, I will say, a little bit dusty because I did technically take them out of the shelves. But overall, I think out of all the Gundam frames, I think Vidar is probably my favorite. Next favorite would be either Lupus Rex or Lupus. But only because of design, and only because, technically speaking, I like Lupus Rex only because of its more bestial form. And then Vidar probably is up there, and then maybe the Hajirabushi, and will technically be another design I actually would like slightly better. Oh, and the what do you call the I'm gonna call the Ryusei Go 4. I'm forgetting its actual demon name. The one with the cannon. It's the pink one, lightish red pink one. That one I actually do like design of that one too. A lot more. And I actually do have that around, so I actually will probably see it when we do the size comparisons to everything else. I will say another thing too, when it comes to weaponry, it does have onboard weaponry, as it does have bladed hook blades right here, as you can see right there. Actually, right there, those right there are basically hook blades that you can use to basically attack people. Basically be able to chop them down, as those are his offensive weaponry he can use from his legs, and be able to clamp down, kind of like scissors, as offensive weapon, which we do see him use during the what was it, in episode 10 or 11, when we see Vidar's for the first time. I'm pretty sure the episode name for that is called Gundam Vidar, or Vidar. Because for those who also want to know why it's called Gundam Vidar instead of Gundam Chimeras, is because Vidar is the Norse god of vengeance, and the entirety arc for Galio during the events of season 2 is basically his vendetta against McGillis after McGillis betrayed him, killed his family, and now Galio wants revenge. And well, at least for most of the season 2, up until towards the end, he forsakes his name as Galio and calls himself Vidar along with his Gundam, so he will be only known as Vengeance, which I will say for the most part, IBO kind of did almost good with the whole concept. It was not terrible. I did like it. I mean, we kind of figured out who it was afterwards, but it's like another thing too. This right here is the Vidar's backpack. It's pretty simple. It's just a simple backpack right there. Not really that much. You have the Ahab reactor right here. Technically speaking, the Ahab reactors for most of the Gundams are in the chest, whatnot. But the other thing too, you also have to remember, is that this is also where the Eva Valanaya Vinaj is. I cannot say anything today. I'm sorry, but the system, the Valania Vinaj system, or the pseudo Valania Vinaj system, is technically housed in here. And why can you not be put back? Oh, great. That's fine. It's the thing's not gonna fall off. It's on there, kind of. I don't know why. This is the first time I actually rechecking the Vidar, and it's like some of those systems are kind of weird. Then we have its main battle rifle, which is a standard battle rifle that it uses, that's able to go through the holes of any standard mobile suits. As we see, I'm going through some of the Grazes, some of the Romandies, some of the Sheedens, I think, and other mobile suits. As we see, I'm taking them down pretty easy. Then we have his most famous weaponry, which I'll show something and give me. His dual pistols is another reason why I do love this mobile suit. Like, these pistols are pretty awesome. My one hatred that I had is that the pistols, well, you can see here that they're kind of not there anymore. That they had false pistols on here, which made me mad. So younger me, and not gonna lie, this is actually one of the more ingenuity me versions of me, decided to fix that, as I decided to make the holsters. We'll take out the side skirt for a second. I decided to make the holsters for this. I can see right there. Let me see. I should see if we can see that a little bit better. So right there, I actually made holsters for them so they can fit in the side skirt, because I was like, you Bandai, you're not gonna do this to me again. And they actually do fit well, as you can slide. Oh, slide from on top, because they're meant to be taken from the top. And boom. And boom. And ta-da! Now the pistols are in the holsters, and you can attach them onto the waist. There's no problem, bro. I will say this, because the way I kind of made the holsters kind of makes the front skirts not be able to go all the way back with the legs, so it kind of gives some problems, but it was going to be one way or another. But a lot of times I can probably make the legs go back a little bit more, which is overall fine. But this way, I now have the pistols on the mobile suit instead of having to put them aside, which is one thing I hate Bandai sometimes when they make mobile suits with kind of gimmicks, like with weaponry, like with sidearms, like with side pistols, the Vidar, and just making false, I forget what we call those, like false ports or false weapon attachments onto the weaponry, and that kind of makes me mad. I will say that. And then going from the Vidar, we have his blade, his rapier. Now, for most of the part, the rapier blades are technically separate. They're housed in the side skirt. It's right here, as we can see right here. As we're gonna pop this open, so you can see the inside of it. Oh no! As is where holsters up, but you just saw right there, the blades fall out. Now, generally speaking, when you buy the model kit, all these blades are technically joined together by little plastic holsters. So they're all technically all together, as they're not supposed to be taken out. What's it called? I count them apart so you can separate them, as you can see right there. So you just reattach the side holsters for these. I can see right there. The side holsters right there is where you hold the blades. You reattach the blades into it. I slide in. Now I will say this: they do technically fall apart. So if by any chance you have the Vidar in like a pose where it's kind of like sliding to the edge, the blades will fall. So just know that if you decide to do this to your own Vidar with this weaponry, just beware of that. And the blades, like you saw before in the intro, attach onto the hilt of the blade like that. And it's pretty good. And it just attaches to the mobile suit right here. And Vidar is now ready to fight. Technically speaking, you could technically fence with the Vidar because technically speaking, rapiers are technically fencing. Well, they are fencing weapons to a degree, but not gonna lie, I really do like this. I will say the handpiece that I am using for the Vidar is technically speaking from one of the option set kits that I got. I forget which one though, because this handpiece right here is not his actual handpiece that he comes with. This is actually the one that comes with one of the option sets. I forget it's option 4, 5, or 6. I forget. It's one of those two. Because his regular normal handpiece would be this one right here, where it doesn't angle. So you guys know that. Overall, yeah. That right there is all the accessories the Gundam Vidar comes with. Overall, it's pretty nice when it comes to the accessories. That's one thing I do like about this. It has a good sort of weaponry. That's what I like about this, and it's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorites. Now, let's go with the articulation of the mobile suit. And we're back. Now let's start out with the articulation for the Gundam Vidar. Going from the head right here, as we can see right here. He's able to go spin around his head, 360, no problem at all. Bob and weave. Ooh, no. There we go. We saved it. Head is fine. V-fin is fine. Everything's good. We are good. His arm's able to spin around. No problem at all. He's able to bend all the way there. No problem at all. See right there. He's able to bend his hand all the way. Does technically have that double joint, but it's slightly locked because of some of the armor blocking it right there. No problem at all. His hand, like always, spin around, bow and weave. That's how most of these hands goes, as these are on ball joints. Torso, able to spin around, like most of the IBO frames. Bow and weave, no problem at all. Still very solid, so that's the one thing I do like. Side skirt kind of falls off, but that's fine. That's usually shouldn't happen with your regular Vidar. Kind of happens with mine because I technically did customize my Vidar's side skirts, and I really haven't fixed them up. They kind of do block the legs, but legs able to go all the way up, all the way to the back, like there. Sadly, this time around, the back waist actually kind of does block it. Vidar's able to do splits, no problem at all. I can see right there. Come on, just do the split for me. Yep, there we go. Vidar's able to do split, no problem at all. His leg, able to... Oh, that's not good. Bend all the way there. Don't worry, nothing broke. That's just creaking of the mobile suit, who has not been handled in like a long time. Then the leg, going from the leg to the feet, able to spin around, no problem at all. Bob and weave, and overall, yeah. As far as it goes, the articulation for the Vidar is actually pretty great. Like most of the IBO kits, they actually have a pretty good range of motion, which is what we do want with our model kits. And overall, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's go with some size comparisons with other model kits that I have laying around. And now we're back and start with some size comparison. Let's go with the eventual successor of the Gundam Vidar, the Chimaris Vidar. Come on, Chimaris. You were standing up just so well right now. I really do hate the ones that usually have the goddamn, there we go. Now we got now we see right here was the technically speaking was the Chimaera's Vidar. I mean, they're both technically almost same height. Was the only difference being that the Chimaera's Vidar's horn is actually the only thing making him technically taller. But I can see here the difference between the upgrades. Where the Vidar used to be very more slim and skinny for more fast-paced movement, where eventually the Chimaera's Vidar gets the upgrade to still being fast and nimble, but now with much more heavy armor, with shields, and being able more offensive than before. Now going from the Chimaera's Vidar, we have my perfect strike. Well, my high grade perfect strike Gundam, like see right here, was the actually was the Gundam Vidar actually being actually slightly taller than my L strike, or my perfect strike. Whereas the fact that most of the Gundam frames, most of the Gundam frames are technically half heel, so technically that technically make them all taller. Let's go with someone who technically will at least match his height with my Quanta Command right here, and wow, I'm actually, man, those IBO heals really are just helping them out, because my god, if it wasn't for the fact that it was the rocket launcher and the sword making the Quanta Command technically still taller, taking out the rockets and the sword, the Quanta Command is actually a bit short. I was not expecting that. I'm going from the Quanta Command. We have my Gym Sniper custom. My Gym Sniper 2. Goddamn, I forget what it's called. But my Gym Sniper 2, and with the Gym Sniper 2 being slightly smaller. K9, there we go. It's Gym Sniper 2 K9. I was forgetting the full name for that. Today's not my best day with remembering or saying words. I'm going with something that I know will be taller than it. My Gundam, the Sinanjo Stein. I was going to call it Gundam Sinanjo because technically speaking, it is technically Gundam by technicality. Not really. Was the Sinanjo Stein being taller because it is a Zeon mobile suit, and all Zeon mobile suits are bigger than anything else. Then we go with the Asteroid Airframe inversion, which is shorter, as we already see with most of the what's it called Gundam Seed units are actually probably smaller. And then to the enemy unit that defeated Galio a long time ago, Megalus's Grim Grade, the red unit, which I will do a review of this one eventually. That will be there down the line. And then last but not least, the mascot of the channel himself, my Gundam Estrella Custom, who actually I will be probably doing some custom work on him later down the line, as I do plan on making him slightly taller. As this one thing I kind of realized with recent developments is the Gundam Estrella, or most of the Gundam Double kits being technically smaller. But yeah, now with that out of the way, folks, let's go with final thoughts for the model kit. And with that, folks, that is it for the review for the Gundam Vidar. Overall, pretty good model kit right here, despite the fact that it is a almost, 7-8 year old. No, yeah, by this point, no. I'm pretty sure by this point, the Vidar is almost 10 years old by now. Probably. I do know it came out, 2016, 2017? 2018, around it. So, it's more like 5 or 6 years old. Despite that, it's still pretty good model kit, even to this day. I will say articulation is still pretty good. Design-wise, where it's still pretty great. It's probably one of my favorite of the IBO kits. I haven't had any of the IBO frame problems with this one, like I do with a lot of the other Gundam frames I do own. This one's actually been pretty solid, despite all those other problems with the other Gundam frames, so it gets points for that. What's called design-wise, it's pretty great. It has a whole lot of details that you can work with, like a paint panel line that you see right there with what I've done with my Gundam Vidar. Overall, pretty great model kit. And if it's still around the price, if you still find it, it's usually right around 20-ish bucks. At least back when I got this back when it first came out, was around 18 bucks. Overall, a pretty good phenomenal kit. And if you do find and see the Gundam Vidar, I say go get it. It's one of those kits where I know nowadays you're not going to be able to find, and it's probably going to be overpriced. So if you do find it for a good reasonable price, I say go get it. It's a pretty good model kit. Now, with that out of the way, folks, that is it for the review. And if you did like the video, please consider dropping a like, share, and subscribe, as I always do appreciate it, folks. And as always, have a nice day. It is I, Power, signing out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.